like you've said a couple times, they've had 7 kids. They've been going through this wall for a long fucking time. And I'm assuming, okay, this is just me assuming, it's never gone anywhere else. It's always gone into the train platform. So there's no reason to assume that there's going to be danger on the other side. Now I get Nate being like, okay, oldest first, because he can be there without parents. He's a prefect. He's responsible. Okay. But then you don't leave Harry and Ron, the 12-year-olds, by themselves last.
No, I think that's almost the most important point. One of the adults needs to go last to make sure that the kids get through with no problems.
Right. There was no reason for Mr. Weasley to go second. So, Harry and Ron try to get through last. And obviously, they don't make it. They run into the barrier, and shit goes everywhere. Hedwig has flown off into the distance, and she's shrieking, and people are like, that's cruelty to animals. What the fuck's going on over there? And Ron and Harry are just really confused, because it's not 11 o'clock yet.
I guess my question was, at 11 o'clock, does this door cease to work? Is it there only for people going to Hogwarts by train?
Now, we haven't been told that yet. My instinct says no, because last year when the train left at 11, Mrs. Weasley was still there waiting with Ginny. Now, we find out right here that they can apparate. So maybe it's just that everyone left on the platform has to apparate away. But, I mean, we are never told, really, what happens after the train leaves. Ron immediately is like, Harry, do you have muggle money? And Harry's like, no. Which also lends to the fact that Harry does not open up a whole lot about his home life. Because Ron would never have asked that if he knew about his situation with the Dursleys.
How come they don't apparate with the kids one at a time, straight to Hogwarts, or even to the platform?
Okay. I think maybe if you had 1 kid or 2 kids, that might be a thing. But you have, 7. I mean, granted, there's only 5 of them here. But you have 8 people that you need to get to and from the platform. So I think that's a lot of fucking work. On top of the fact that, if you've read Hogwarts history, you know that you can't apparate inside Hogwarts grounds.
Okay. So drop them all off at Hagrid's.
That's on the grounds. We don't know a whole lot about apparating yet, but they make it clear that it's not something you could easily do with the children. That's why mom and dad don't do it with them. They can do it, but the kids can't. So the boys can't figure out why they can get through. 11 came, they panic. They don't know if mom and dad can get back through. And my first thought would be, mom and dad know that we didn't get through. They should be freaking out right now. And if they can apparate, why haven't they apparated back to right here?
To come back and be like, hey, what the hell happened?
Right, if the train leaves right at 11, and this is something I don't even know, I don't even have an answer for, at the very least, the train went away. Where'd Harry or Ron go? They never showed up. You apparate to the other side, and you go, why the fuck didn't you come through? But they didn't do that. So, in the book, the time is 11 o'clock.
Yep.
Do you know what time it is here?
What time is it here, Jade?
It's time for the beer break!
Oh, yeah. Well, I do like this part of the show. So tonight, we are drinking CEO Stout from Right Brain Brewery.
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago now, Jade and I went to Traverse City on the motorcycle, and we ended up at Right Brain, and we tried a bunch of their beers. I tried a beer, spicy peanut butter. That wasn't exactly the name, but it tasted like peanut butter, and then it burned my face off. So I was like, I am not drinking that. But it was beer. But they have this at Meijer, and we like it because it really, really does taste like coffee. The back of the can says, a bit of mad science, a little sorcery, and a lot of love. That's what goes into CEO Stout. It's one of Right Brain Brewery's oldest and most cherished recipes, not to mention a top fan favorite. I can attest to that. CEO stands for chocolate, espresso, and oatmeal. These 3 elements and some other stuff combine to form an American-style stout that is dark-bodied and complex, yet surprisingly seasonable. Brewed with locally roasted coffee beans, Drink as fresh as possible. Keep beer curious.
I want to throw out there, too, they had just made this beer called Luminous Lemon when we were up there, too. And it is, like, the best lemon beer I've ever had. I'm not, like, a real big lemon fan in the first place, but I made our local gourmet beer store actually order some after that because I needed it. It was very good. They made it with real lemon, and if you can get your hands on it, you should, because it's delicious.
Did it taste like lemon meringue pie? That's the only thing I can eat, really, lemon-wise, dessert-wise.
It wasn't quite as creamy as that.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
like
it was
just the lemon of it.
Yeah, but it was like, when I say lemon juice, that doesn't really do it justice.
Like lemonade?
Yeah, it is like lemonade.
But not as, like, tart.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to make sure I get you some, because I thought
That's
that
good.
I'd let you try it, but it's good.
I think, James, with you liking ciders, that luminous lemon would be right up your alley.
Yeah, I'll try it out.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this.
And we're back. But obviously, Mr. and Mrs. Weasley are not back. So Harry's like, dude, we should just go sit by your parents' car and wait for them to come. And as soon as he says that, he doesn't even get it halfway out of his mouth before Ron's like, oh shit, that's a great idea, dude. You know what we should totally do? Drive the car.
You'd think Harry at that point would be like, no. I wasn't suggesting we steal the car. I'm just saying let's go wait by the car.
Right. This is it's such a funny line of thought from Ron that he's like, oh yeah, man, no, we gotta get to school. Duh. We gotta get there. So, like, I gotta drive the car. Mom and Dad will be fine.
Well, and he says even underage wizards are allowed to use magic in an emergency situation. And if I were Harry, I'd be asking Ron, have you already broken this rule and gotten a letter from the ministry? Because I have. I can't afford to get caught doing this shit again because I will get expelled.
Right, 100%. He just got in trouble for this, like, a month ago. It doesn't even enter his brain.
With that fact right there, I'm going to go back just a few chapters for a second. They mention that Arthur Weasley writes laws that go into effect for artifacts and things like that. So does Arthur actually write all of the laws for everything?
I think as far as the misuse of Muggle artifacts, he has some leeway in writing some laws. I don't think all laws.
I'll bet his department helped create the law. Like,
right.
They gave it to the government voted, or however they do things over there, and ultimately put this law into action, but he helped write it.
Right, but as far as, like, the underage wizarding law itself, I don't think he has any say in that, because that has nothing to do with his department.
Ron just knows it pretty specifically. That's probably because they've probably dealt with it with all of his brothers and everything.
To be fair, Ron says, Section 19 or something of the restriction of thingy.
He still knew you could do it, so...
Didn't you try and learn every single loophole possible when you were their age?
I'm just saying, it kind of sounds like he's bullshitting Harry a little bit. Like, he's like, man, we can totally do it, because, you know, the thing...
And he knows that Harry wouldn't know any better. Like, dude, it's Section 19 or something of the thing. It's legit.
For sure.
Expecting Harry to be like, oh, yeah, no, okay, yeah, totally. If you say so.
And as he tells Harry, my parents don't need the car. They can apparate. They only bother with this shit because of us. It's not even a thing, all right?
I kind of feel like Ron is greasing this all along because he wanted to drive the car. He wasn't able to last time.
Like, it was his idea to go get Harry, and his brothers were like, all right, we will drive you over there, okay? And he was like, I know, it's my idea, man. I want to drive the car. And they're like, no, okay. We're the older brothers. We're going to drive the car. So he's like, no, I'm going to take the wheel this time.
Yeah, he's been itching to drive that thing.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, here's every single reason why me driving the car right now is a good idea. Let's go do it, Harry.
Yeah, it makes sense. And at this point, Harry's like, oh, okay, man. Yeah, let's drive the fucking car. Yeah, okay. This is a good idea.
Well, like I said in the last episode, I believe, flying fucking car seems like a good idea anytime.
That's what I was going to say. Part of me is like, wouldn't you look at your friend and be like, no, dude, bad idea. But then the other part of me is like, 12-year-old boy. So, maybe not.
No, putting all of their stuff back into that car, just being the two 12-year-old boys, you think that would draw a little bit of attention?
2 parts. Number 1, good point, James. They totally clown card that shit when they got there.
Yeah.
I think they aren't wearing their wizard robes usually when they get to the train. It's not super weird for a couple kids to be like, putting shit in a trunk. Mom and Dad might have just, be walking a little bit behind them, getting off a train. The owl is a little weird that they have an owl in the first place. But I think just kids putting shit in a car, they probably just went ahead of their parents. It's not a huge deal. Now, driving the car, that's a little weird, but Harry keeps a lookout. And then they hit the invisibility thing, and they all vanish.
Fuck school. We're invisible in a car, flying anywhere we want. Let's hit the Playboy Mansion.
You're trouble. You're the kid I don't want my kid to be riding in an invisible car with.
James is Ron in this situation, and I would be Harry. You'd be like, dude, it's totally fine. We have the keys. It's basically our car. Let's go. Oh, yeah, okay, sure.
But this is different than the invisibility cloak, because when you're under the invisibility cloak together, you can see each other, okay? I feel like this would be a whole different level of fucking weird to all of a sudden disappear, and your friend disappears, and you're like, I can't fucking see you anymore, bud. I can't see me. I can't see the car. It's fucking weird. You look over at your friend, you look at the car, everything's gone. It would give me a major sense of anxiety, I feel like, to be like flying through the air with a completely invisible everything.
Only momentarily, though.
Yeah.
Because after a while, it stops working. Like, on and off.
Because apparently Mr. Weasley isn't the best at making things invisible. Which you can't really fault him for, because that's not his job.
Still cool.
Absolutely, it's still cool, but, like, it's not exactly foolproof.
No, not at all. It's still a homemade solution to something probably best left to someone like the army.
And Ron doesn't go, oh shit, we better land, and, like, stop this. He's like, no, go into the clouds, it'll be fine.
Higher.
Yeah, so they fly into the clouds, and then realize they have to keep dipping down under the clouds to check on the train every so often.
They say every half hour, though. Every half hour.
A train can change direction very quickly.
Right. When we make our drive to Florida, I check the GPS every 10 seconds. I could not imagine just not even looking at my phone for 30 minutes. Like, am I still on the highway?
I think that's a great point, and I think that they are lucky as fuck that they stay on track as long as they do. I do think you have to remember that these are 12-year-old kids, so they're like, I'll be fine.
That or every 10 seconds feels like a half hour to them, because they can't stay focused.
Now, it says that they make it back up through the clouds, and it's like a whole new world. This whole scene makes me feel like Aladdin, because they're flying through the clouds, and it's all puffy and wonderful, and all they have to worry about is airplanes, and it makes me want to sing. But I'm not going to, for the sake of all the listeners out there. Harry thinks that this is the best way to travel. Of all the ways he's traveled so far. Above the clouds, there's a fat lot of toffees in the glove box, and they're gonna get to see Fred and George's jealous fucking faces when they get to Hogwarts.
What's he doing going through the glove box? That ain't his car. Fucking rude. That's all I'm saying. I don't go digging through other people's cars when they give me a ride.
I think that'd be a fun way to travel, but flying on a broom, I think that'd be pretty fun too.
But in a car, you don't gotta worry about bugs. I know this because motorcycle versus car.
I'd like to add to that. I don't want to ride on a broom unless it has a motorcycle seat.
Also true.
And saddlebags for the candy.
Right. If there's no candy, then I don't understand